Hi and welcome. I haven't done a tutorial in long time, so this is my first one. I just opened a new YouTube channel, and I hope you can enjoy it. Today's tutorial is about an advanced accordion. Advanced accordion. What I mean by that is that usually an accordion you just have it's like a button. You have a text. You click on it. It opens up, you got some text, that's it. I searched for, I searched on YouTube and many channels. How actually could I put some images in an accordion? And but I couldn't find nothing. So I said to myself, okay, there must be a way. And like I said, I'm not a developer. I'm not a really web designer or whatsoever, but I learned it by myself and I learned the hard way. Anyway, that is what we're going to create today. As you can see here, we got one accordion, and within this accordion, I have 3 cards. You can put in as many cards as you like. That doesn't matter as long as you stay within the accordion. So here, this is for a friend of mine. Um, he wants to open a new store for car sales, and he asked me if I could come up with something. And of course, he has over 30 cars. And if I would have put each car in on the side, then it would have been very tedious and anyway, not very good to overview. So I come up with this accordion. Anyway, so this is the accordion. That's the info we have in. As you can see here, I'm using German. I'm in Germany, and but you can see it. The card is divided into different sections. Section 1 we have a 3 column. Then in the bottom section we have our images, which when I click on here, you see it opens up the image in large, and I close it. Now you can put in as many images as you like, yeah. Um, but as you can see, this works pretty good, yeah. So now the accordion is like a normal accordion. One opens, one closes, and so on. Not only that is, if I go here on inspect page and I make it out on mobile devices, and I check here, let's say example, I don't know, I got here iPhone X example now. So you see everything is responsive. If I click on it, everything is responsive and everything works the same like on a iPad. There's an iPad Pro example here. That would what it would like on an iPad Pro, and so on. As of course it's going to be responsive now. So as you can see here, I click, everything works fine. So let me close this one now. Let me close this one, and let's get started. So I'm using Visual Studio Code to do my text, which I have opened already in the background here. So let's put this one a little bit offside so we can see both the screen and why it will look on the side. As you can see, I opened I have my index HTML open, and I have a style sheet, and the style sheet at the moment is CSS. There's at the moment nothing in there. So the index, on the index, I just put in the doc type, the header, the body, the scripts, and the end tag of the HTML. What I like to do is I like to put remarks on each thing. which I do, that is also to know what is going on, and if I have an error, it's easier to detect. There's a couple of things which you need to install. I installed it. You might can get it also by just getting the reference or the link for the from a CDN. But anyway, I downloaded them, and we have here Bootstrap CSS, the styles CSS, which is our style sheet here. Then I downloaded from Google Fonts. I downloaded this font here, Philosopher. You can download whatever you like. Then I have my font Awesome, which we're going to need to make this. If you look here, you see all these icons here. Yeah, all these icons here. And then also the lightbox. The lightbox, we're going to need that one for the displaying the images, like when I click on here. Yeah. So after that we have there's the head. That eventually there's the title here. Then we start the body. In the body at the moment is nothing in there. Apart on the bottom of the body, there is then my script files, which with jQuery. You need to have jQuery. You need a Bootstrap, of course, and you need to have Lightbox Plus. So then that's in the end of the body, and here the end of the doc type. I organize myself on my desktop. I have a folder. In the folder, I have all the things which I need. I have a folder with all the CSS. As you can see here, there's all the CSS in. Then I got my images. These images here, they are needed only, so keep that folder with images. When you download your Lightbox, you get also a folder with images in. These images are important that they're in there, otherwise it will show you an error. And then of course I got all my car images, which I got here. You can put any images you like. I mean, I like to keep them organized so that I know what is what, you know. And I try to keep them all in one size. An example here, the dimension example of all these images are 1824 by 1386. So that is very important, because otherwise you don't want to have one picture bigger than the other one smaller, the other one vertical, the other one horizontal, and so on. And then I have these two labels in here, which are icons, which we're going to use on this side here, as you can see. And yeah, and that's it. Now, next thing which is important, then I got all my GSS here, which when you download Bootstrap and Lightbox and so on, you get always the you get different folders, and in those folders you have to use copy them and paste them into your JS file, and same here with the CSS. Then I created another folder with my thumbs. These are the 3 thumbs we see here, and it's the same cars. I only resize them in Photoshop, and I'm gonna give them a dimension of 114 by 86. So that is how the folder is organized. And then of course here, you know, I got my index up here, which is open, which is not open yet, because this is from the finished version on this side here, and this one here is an index which is not even open yet, which we can open now. So as you can see here, if I make a save here, and I go to go live, starting and dark, as you can see, there is nothing in this index file. Okay, anyway, So, another thing I installed here by Visual Studio is a W3c Validation. And that's what we have here. So it shows me every time there's an error, it shows me the errors or warnings or whatsoever. And then I can go check out where I made, when I committed an error, where it is, and where so on and so on. And I can prove you that one here by, if I go to inspect page, you see there's no errors on this page. There's no warnings, there's nothing. So it's pure, clean, nothing wrong. So anyway, so let's get started. So we know that this is the body. Oh, let me close this one here a little bit. So the body starts here, and now let's go starting. The first one we do this H1 here, the title, and then we're going to make this HR line. So let's start it. That would be H1. H1, and in the H1 we write advanced accordion, advanced accordion, advanced accordion, and under the H1 we'll put an HR. HR, and we close it. So, and that is these two lines there. And then now if I save it and I go in here, you see advanced accordion, and I got this the HR here. So next things what we're going to do now, we're going to start now the accordion. So let me put here a reminder in there that this is where I start my accordion. Start of accordion. So then we do our first diff, which is the ID of accordion. Diff ID, diff ID accordion, and let's close the diff here. So start of accordion, and next to here I write end of accordion. So I know that this is where my accordion ends. End of accordion. Good. Now, within the accordion here, we have to do, the first thing we have to do is to insert a car. So there is a class of card, and again here so, and here we put again a reminder, start of card, and I copy this one and I paste it here on the back here, and I put end of card. End of card. So now within the card now we need a card header, and we need to give an ID. So, and then this will be a diff with a class, of card header. header, card header, and we need also a ID, an ID, and the ID that would be the heading 1. Yeah, heading 1. This is heading 1, this is heading 2, heading 3, and so on. So heading 1, and then here we can close our div. So now within this div here, what we need is we need a button. We need a button, so that when we click, like I put a button on the image here, you see there's nothing. I cannot do nothing here. Only in the image I can do that. So so we're going to put in here a button with a thumbnail and then this text here. So the text I'm going to make it in a H6. Let's make a H6 with a class of, oops, H5 I did, sorry, H6 with a class of MB0. So now H6 class MB0, empty heading. Okay, yeah. So don't worry about it now. MB6. So, and then in there we're going to make a button, with a class of BTN and BTN link, button link. And these are all used from the actually from the bootstrap. So after that we need to have a type, and the type would be a button. And after that we need a toggler, a data toggler. So data toggle, data toggle, and the data toggle would be collapse. So that means it collapses. After that we need a few more, and the next one would be a data target. Data target. And that would be an ID of collapse 1. Oops. Collapse 1. And after that we need if I'm not wrong, we need an area expanded. Area expanded that comes out here, area expanded, and we put that one to false. The reason I put this one to false is because if I put it on true, every time I open the page, you will see that the accordion is the first card in the accordion is already open. I don't want that. I want it to be all closed. That's the reason why I put false in there. So, and the next one is P controls. So it's the area controls, area controls, and the area controls, that would be the collapse 1 again. Collapse 1. and there is that one, is the end of that one. And that would be the button. So now within the button still, no, not within the button, after the button, sorry, let me take this one back. After the button, now we're going to put the title, which is the first car, which is Toyota RAW 4, and it's got a selling price of 19,000 euros. So, and that is the end of our H6. Now, so anyway, I made a couple of things here. I just put here on the card header, I put the start of the card header and down there on this div, so I know which div is for which. That's but then the end of my card, and you can, if I go up here, you will see it will highlight also this div here. So okay, now that we got this one out, and this is the div for the card, see here, so that one still needs to be there, otherwise the card is going to be closed. We cannot put nothing in it. And so now let's start identifying this collapse one, because here, as you can see here, it gives me an error. Yeah, so that's because collapse one here is not been defined yet. So let's start with a div ID, and that would be collapse one, collapse one, and we need a class of collapse, and after the class of collapse we need area, and that is label add by, which is the heading 1, which we identified up here, heading 1, and the other ID, heading 1. And after that we need one more, which is the data parent, which is the accordion, so data parent, and that would be the accordion, ID of accordion. So, and after that accordion. So, and after that, if I close this one here, so sorry, I had to pause the video for a minute. I had a phone call coming in. Anyway, so now we set up this one. Let me give it here again a remark, so that we know where we are, and this would be the collapse one, the start of collapse one, collapse one. 1. And then take this one again, just copy, paste and copy on this div here, and paste it and make this one end of end. The reason I do this because afterwards, when we made our first collapse one, to speed up the process a little bit for the second card, we're just going to copy and paste and then just make the changes in there, because otherwise here, I mean, I'm going to have a video for the next 6 hours. I'm already a slow typer, as you can see. So anyway, let's go in here, because in this div here now, in the collapse one, what we have to do, we have to put in the card, the body of the card. So there would be a class of a div class of card body, card body, card body, card body, and in the card body we need a container, with a class of container fluid, and in this div here we need to put in a row. Container fluid, that means that way it's responsive because it's fluid, it enlarges and it gets smaller and so on. So then let's do the next one is and we need a row as a class of row, and in the row we need another div. There's a lot of this in here, like people. We need to set the column width. So since we have 3 columns, in there, I'm going to use the MD4, which makes 12 divided 4, that gives 3, because usually in a column, in one row, you got 12 columns. So let's do then this. That is a class of call MD4, MD4. So, and now in this column here, in this div here now, we're going to start our first column, which is the one which would be, if I show you here, which would be this one here. So, and that would be then, I make a remark here again, that is the general info. General info, and let's put this here, start general info, and underneath here what we're going to do is we're going to start doing that. So here I'm going to put a class, another div in there with a class of L side, that means left side, because I want them to be on the left side, which then I'm going to use with CSS to style it. And so let's start it. That would be L side, div of L side, and now in here we're going to have another H6, which would be this one up here, the info and so on. So let's get started. Class L side, then we're going to have an H6, with a span in there. And there we're going to have a span. Oops. Span. Sorry for the typing mistakes. Span. And within the span, we got an icon. So that would be an icon, and within the icon we're gonna have a class of, we need a class in here, a class of, and that would be our first that would be our first font awesome, which in this case is called FAS and info. FAS info. And after that I can close my eye, and now I go into the span. We're going to put a what you call it, a space. A space is a ensign, and then a NBSP, and after that one we'll put in strong, let me see, I think I made something wrong. The span is there. No, not after the I need this one. I need this one after the span here. Control X. Let's get rid of that. After the span I need a break. A BR. And after the BR I need strong, and within the strong let me close this one, and within the strong then we put the info in there. Info capitalized. And before that, after the break, I need to put in the space now. So now let me save this one and let's have a look at it. Yeah. So accordion info. You see, we got the info in there. The only thing which we still haven't put in there is, I just realized I haven't put the pictures in there. So, and that is supposed to come before the end of the button here. So we got collapse 1. After the collapse 1, sorry, it was my mistake, we put in an image, an IMG SRC, and that would be, what was this again? SRC, yeah, that would be thumbs, and in the thumbs we got the first car, that would be the Toyota, that is an Asian car. We put this one in there, and after that we put an alt. That's very important that you put an alt, because otherwise you get an error. And then we can close our image. So now if I reload, if I resave, see, now we got our car, and here we got our info. So that is okay. So let's go back here again where we were on the H6. The H6 is now finished. Now, after the H6, we have to put in all the paragraphs. And there's, let me see how many we got here. There is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let's do the first one, and then I just do a copy and paste and change them. So let's do a P. Close that one in the P. After the P, we're going to make a span. 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 And within the span, we're going to have again an icon, I with a class of the first one would be the car, I believe, FAS, FA car. And after that, after the span here, we put again a space in there. See if I still got it in memory. Control V. Yeah, I still got it. No, wrong way, the wrong one. Needs to be in here. And after the space, I'm going to put the name Roadster. And that is my first P. Now if I save it and I open it, back, Roadster. Good, that means we're doing okay. So what I'm going to do is now, for not looking at me typing every single line in there again, I'm going to pause the video, going to put in all the rest of these icons. And then after that, you can post the video and copy what I typed in there, and then we can proceed. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I put in all the rest of the piece paragraphs with different icons. What I would suggest you is please stop the video for a minute, and just copy what I wrote there, and I put in also a couple of reminder here. The div class called MD4, there's the start of the first column, then we have the end of the first column, and then here we got the general, the start of general info, and here is the end of the general info. And then this one here is the class row, which we're still going to need anyway. So because we're going to have now a second row. So now when if we go down here, if we go down here now, we're going to start off the second row. So anyway, I'm back. As you can see, now I finished the first row, or the first column, let's say like that. I put in also a few comments here again, like the start of the first column, start of the general info, which is this one here, then the end of the first column and the end of the general info. So next thing, and I saved it already, so if you look at here, if I press on it, you can see everything is working perfectly. Now let's start doing the second column. What I'm going to do is to speed up the process a little bit, because otherwise here I'm going to end up with a 4-hour video. I'm already at 40 minutes so far. I'm a slow typer, unfortunately. I can't help it, it's like that. So anyway, let me just make you the second column, and after we did the second column, then you know, again, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. It's more or less the same as the first column. The only difference is we don't have all these icons to put in. It's just mainly text we put it in there, and with some changes later, which I'm going to use in the CSS for the text. So anyway, let's start. So that would be the start of the consumption, which is the second column. Let me start this one. Start of consumption. Start of consumption, and I copy this one also. Put it down there. And I put here end of consumption. End of consumption, and in between, so that I have to retype it later. Let's start. So we're going to start same process as before. So what we need here, example which we can copy, we need to copy the we need the div class, the call MD4. So let me do like this. Let me copy this, copy and paste that one in. Now, and then here we put, and in between that one, oops, and in between that one we're going to need again the class L side, which we're going to put in there also. And we're going to close that one also. And now let's start. The next thing we have, that is the H6, and the H6 would be, it's a little bit different than the other one, more or less the same as the other one anyway, but there's still an icon in there, and then of course, you know, there is oops, where am I? This one here. So I'm just going to paste it in there. That is again an H6. Whoops. An H6 with a span in it, an I class, and that would be for the Kraftstoffverbrauch, which means in English consumption. If I save this one now, and I open it here, you see, here we got it. So we got that the icon up here, and then we got the text in here. So next, let's do now, we start again the P class. Same like above here. The only thing is for this one here I put in something differently, and that would be like it's a P tag. It's going to have a class of light, and then they're going to come in let me see. So let me see, and it's going to come in then also those two those two icons which you see here, which you see down here. Anyway, let me get rid of it. Let me get started here. I just copied and pasted. So you go, And if I make a save here and I open it, here you go, here you see it, it's all done. So I list the screen up here again so that I can see it. Just post the video and copy the same things which I put in there to speed up the things a little bit, because I'm already at 45 minutes. I don't know how long I'm allowed to have a video up on YouTube. I do have the extension, but since it's the first video I upload, I don't know if they're going to accept it or not. So then here we have, oops, I made this wrong. This is supposed to come in between here. So here we go. And there we go. So anyway, so that was the end of the consumption. Actually, the end of consumption is under the third div here. So this div is for this one, this div is for this one, and this div is for this one. So, and this div is for the row. The row I still need, and that is the end of the consumption. So now the last row, sorry, I got a call coming in. I stop you for a minute. So guys, I'm back. Sorry about that, but anyway, so what I did in the meantime, I mean, we did the first column, yeah. Then what I did is I put in also already the second column, which is this part here, yeah. And so just pause your video and copy the script which I put in here. And also what I did is I put in the last part of the third column. So if I make a save here now, and you're going to go here on our side, you can see we got all three things, all three columns. I just saw that here I made this one. Angebotsnummer is supposed to be in uppercase letters. Let's do that. So let's do a save again. Let's open it, and now we got here. So, and so that finishes the, let's say, the three columns that we have. I think I'm going to close now this first part 1 of this tutorial, since it's taken already almost like 15 minutes. And in the next one, we are going to do this part here of the tutorials, all the images, going to put all the images in. And once we done the first card, yeah, then we're going to go a little bit into styling everything here, so that afterwards, because what is happening is that once we finish this part here with the first card, and after we styled it, it's only a question of paste and changing the images into the cars, and that's about it. Uh, a lot of things I'm not going to change. So, example, I'm not going to change all these parts here. I'm not going to change. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to change this part here, and I'm not going to change this part here. I mean, this part here is going to stay the same anyway. The only things that might change here, which I'm going to show you once we get to that point when we do the first copy and paste to change all the stuff. There's a couple of things we have to change. So of course we have to change the images and so on and so on. But anyway, so let's keep it by that at the moment. And like I said, this is the end of part 1. And in the next part we're going to insert the pictures. And once we have those ones done, then we're going to go to the style sheets. I hope in the second tutorial we can do the style sheets also, finish it completely. We'll see how it progresses. As I said, you know, I'm a slow typer. Hey guys, come on, give me some credit. I'm 62 years old. And like I said, I'm not a developer or something like that, or a coder. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. So please, oh, and don't forget, comment me, subscribe on me. The more you subscribe and the more you comment, the more happier I feel. And if there's anything where I can help you with, I will do it with pleasure. So, like I said at the beginning though, I'm not giving scripts out, nothing. You learn by typing it yourself, because then it stays up here in your head. I had to learn it like that. It's a hard way to learn, but it's the best way. It's the same like when you go to school, you get a book. Your teacher say, look at the book and write me something. You're not going to go there and take the book, make a copy and paste it on your paper. Doesn't work like that. So here is the same thing. It's the best way to learn. And again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video.